نعتبر بأن توزلان تخلوان ترهدا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم مدد صاحب السيف طريقتنا الصحبة بالخير من جميعات. This tariqat, this way, it is founded on association. Through association, you're going to learn. You're going to sit. You're going to listen. You are going to think. You're going to put it in your life. You're going to see the changes in your life. If you are coming for associations and your life is not changing, and your life is not changing for the better, fix yourself. Watch where you are in that association. Watch where your heart is in that association. Watch where your mind is in that association. Is your heart busy with the outside? Majority, yes. During the zikr, your hearts are busy with the dunya. During the zikr, your hearts are busy with your ego and with your own small little lives and small little problems. That you are taking your problems to take the place of Allah in the zikr. So what is the use of the association? Get up, get out. Sleeping. Out. You're not going home, but you're going to stay out. Holy Prophet ﷺ, as he was about to start the Sohbet, saying, Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Just as it's about to start, one munafiq, one hypocrite stands up, breaking everything. Slowly getting up and walking to another corner to sit down. Prophet ﷺ, smiling, begins again. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As he was about to start, another munafiq, getting up, slowly walking and sitting in another part of the room. Distracting. Is stopping the channels that are coming from the heavenly sources. And the one who is going to give the Sohbet, don't think that they are better than the Holy Prophet ﷺ. If the Prophet ﷺ was interrupted and he had to begin again, what about those other ones? So what are you going to learn from the Sohbet then? If your heart is not busy inside the Sohbet. You can come and go 20 years, but you will not take 2 steps. Tonight we are remembering the 250,000 Muslims, majority of them Turks. The armies of the Khilafat, that they stood up and they sacrificed their lives for the Khalifah. They were not fighting for Turkey. They were not fighting for Pakistan. They are not fighting for Bangladesh. They are not fighting for Malaysia. They are not fighting for Saudi Arabia. They were fighting for the Khalifah. They were giving up their lives for the Khilafat. The Khilafatul Rasulullah alayhi salatu wassalam. They were not fighting for nationalism, for their own people, for their own tribe. And those who are not going to stand up to defend the Khilafat against the unbelievers, Allah makes them to fight each other and to eat each other as if they are fighting the unbelievers. And you see that happening since the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had veiled the Khilafat up till today. Muslim nations continuously fighting first amongst themselves. You understanding? Because they are not understanding what it means to be in the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. They don't like that kind of association. They want to be the ummah of Arabistan, ummah of Turkey, ummah of Pakistan, ummah of Malaysia. Stay out. But they don't want to be the ummah of the Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. So they have been fighting. We have been fighting. We have been eating each other from the inside from that time until now. And the majority of the problem comes because we don't understand, we don't want to understand, because we're so busy with our dunya in our own little lives that we're not even taking time to properly remember those who have given up their lives, their properties, their families, everything that they have for us to be able to stand up and to worship. For us, that if it were not for them, we would have lost this Ahl Sunnat Aqidah. Majority of the Muslims not even knowing what is Canakkale. Not even knowing how the whole world came together with the aid of so many Muslims, paying the Muslims to fight against the Khalifah. There are those who tried to stop it, but it was too late. They were tricked. And that battle of Canakkale, which is a very short strip of land that they were defending, that if they had given up from that piece of land, the enemies would have broken through and marched into Istanbul to bring down the Khilafat. Don't think bringing down the Khilafat is just bringing down one man. It means that you have completely destroyed now the honor of the Ummah. That small piece of land, 250,000 soldiers. Soldiers, like the Battle of Badr, they had very little weapons or ammunition. Definitely they have very little food, that they were boiling their shoes, their leather shoes, and they were eating it to stop themselves from dying from starvation and hunger. That all those that they've already achieved the station of awliya in that army, that they were not fighting for nationalism or for their country. They were fighting for Khilafat, for Islam, for the Prophet ﷺ, and for us. And because the majority of Muslims not remembering and honoring that and honoring them, we are punished. We are punished because we are not remembering them, and we are punished with continuously now punishing ourselves, torturing ourselves, killing ourselves, having our honor stripped away from us by ourselves. Let's not even touch what the enemies have done to the Muslims. Awliya Allah, Sahib al-Saif, Shaykh Abdulkerim Kibrisi Rabbani had said, quoting from Shaykh Maulana, that after the Battle of Badr, the most important battle in Islam, it is the Battle of Canakkale. And in that battle, so many, they were martyred, and so many strange and unusual incidents and miracles happened. And Allah's favor is shown to those one who sincerely had to give up everything. There were families who had 3, 4, 5 sons that they sent every single son to the battleground to be finished, to be slaughtered, to give up their lives. You should think even for 5 seconds right now, looking at your friend, looking at your brother, looking at your son, looking at your father, and imagining that one right in front of you, dead and being killed. Have you ever thought of that? That your father or your son or your brother right in front of you, saying Allahu Akbar, the blood coming out from them, and they are not fearful, they are not regretful, they are happy to give up their lives for the sake of Allah. Where you think your heart will be that time? Mothers, think. There were mothers there too, who sent their son after son to the battleground, knowing they will never come back. You think you will ever be in that category? Mothers these days, they don't even let their full-grown son to come to the masjid too much, or to come to zikr. You think that time you will have enough faith to say, go my son, Allah will be with you. These are not stories. Islam is not a story. It is flesh and blood and tears and sweat. And a great debt was paid for us. And all we have to do is to remember. So remember. Put all our selfish desires aside, our small little problems aside, and remember those ones who have given up their lives for us. So the Khilafat was not brought down by the unbelievers. You will see never in Islam, never in the history of Islam, that the unbelievers defeat the Muslims 100% totally by themselves. You will always see the defeat happening because of the betrayal from inside. Because of the betrayal from inside, from their own Muslims. Don't point your fingers to unbelievers. Don't point the fingers to shaitan. Inside, our ego is the greatest betrayer. How? If you are not going to understand the ego, you will understand at that time the characteristics of a betrayer. So the Khilafat was not brought down by the unbelievers, but it was brought down by betrayal inside. Those ones who were inside the Ottoman bureaucracy. that they have already betrayed the Ottomans, while still calling themselves Ottomans, because they are looking to another lifestyle. They are looking to another life, that they say we like this life better than what Allah and His Prophet has provided for us. And they have already betrayed, and they have already sold themselves. So from the outside, of course, they look Muslim, they look Ottomans. Majority did at that time. So many, from pashas to generals, to imams, to shaykhs, to Shaykhul Islams. That when the time came, the Khilafat had to be veiled, and the Khalifah stepped down willingly. He did not fight for his position. Understand this. He did not run away. He did not fight for it. He stepped down. They came to him, a few people, telling him to step down, including the Shaykhul Islam. Betrayal can take place anywhere and in any form. The Khalifah considered it, thought about it. But the Khalifah, Sultan Abdul Hamid Khan, Jannat Mekan, he was a wali, awliya of his own right. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that is speaking about Khilafat, and when the Khilafat Khalifa should step down, it spoke to him and he understood it. That hadith is explaining when these things happen, when these signs are shown, step down. Voluntarily he stepped down. Although some generals who were loyal to him tried to persuade him, saying to him, "Don't step down, Ya Sultan, we have secret armies that we may be able to take control again." He said, "No, my son, time has come for me now, for the next stage that is going to happen to this ummah." What is the next stage? Jababira. Complete zulm, tyranny. That from the time that the Khalifah stepped down up till now, tyranny has taken over the face of this world and it's taken over the heart of this world. Look, where is there any mercy anymore? From individuals, families, communities, to governments, to the world. So he stepped down. Those who fought in the way of Allah, they have already won. Whether they live or they die, they win or they lose the war, they have already won. Look over here. Look over here. Turn this way. If you are tired, go sit down over there. Stretch. Stay over here. Women are over there. Sit down. Comfortable. There. Inshallah, we are here preparing ourselves to welcome back the Khilafat. It is not going to be achieved through fighting, through war, through campaigning, through political parties, through regimes, through ideologies, through governments. No, it is not. It is going to be sent to us in a spiritual way that the Ahlul Haq, they will understand it. Prepare yourself for that, inshallah. May Allah accept our faith, our worship, and our service. May Allah bless the martyrs of Canakkale and all those ones who have sacrificed their lives in the way of Allah, from the Battle of Badr to the Battle of Canakkale to today, those who stood up to fight for truth and they have sacrificed their lives. May Allah raise their station. May they give their support to us. May we never forget their sacrifice. May we always put their sacrifice next to what we have and what we're asking, so that we know what is truth and what is falsehood. For the sake of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, his family, companions, and our Grand Shaykh and our Shaykh, Al-Fatiha.